T-minus 3.0. It's the third time that we're doing T-minus, our product release event every year at HEO Robotics, or HEO. Thank you for coming. Without further ado, I want to announce Will Crow, Dr. Will Crow, CEO and founder of HEO Robotics.
Thanks for coming, everyone, tonight. And we've got 150 people watching this live online as well. And then this will be going out onto YouTube. So a bunch of people can watch this in the future as well. So hello, future people, too. As Christian said, I am Dr. Will Crow, CEO and co-founder of HEO. And what we do is image satellites from other satellites and get insights on them. But we have ambitions for so much more. So I want to quickly talk about that, why that's important, and then talk through some of the really interesting stuff we've been working over the last year to help our customers and help reach that future as well. So our mission at HEO is to image anything in the solar system on demand. So, woo! That's awesome. There are millions and millions of objects in the solar system, most of which aren't tracked, and we pretty much, and those that are tracked, we pretty much know nothing about them. So the majority of objects in the solar system, we have very little information on. We think this is really important because for the future of humanity, for the future of space exploration, the exploitation of space, we really need an information layer. So this is something that we believe at HEO is absolutely true, and we think we're one of the, probably the only one, but at least one of the very few companies thinking about space this way. But it's really critical that we get this information layer right. And that's for a few reasons. So one is that really understanding an object is kind of the first step in understanding how to solve problems around that object. So a lot of people say space is hard, but why is it hard? It's because we don't know that much about it. So understanding that is key. It can also really help us get excited about what's out there. So one thing that really helped the environmental movement here on Earth was seeing the Earth from space. So there's this photo called Earthrise. It's absolutely stunning. It was taken by Apollo astronauts, and that really helped get the environmental movement going. So even for people here on Earth, we needed pictures of space, of Earth in space from another spacecraft, which is really interesting. The last one is really important, and we're really helping a lot of customers with today, and that's de-escalation. So a lot of interesting things happening in space, people potentially putting weapons there, et cetera. If we can help provide information and help customers see exactly what's going on with other spacecraft, then that can help de-escalate potential conflicts as well. So we think that's absolutely critical. So that's the why. Our approach at HEO is a partnership approach. So we work with a whole range of different companies, and we use assets that are already existing in space. So really great spacecraft with really great cameras. We use them during their downtime typically. So Earth observation satellites, for example, when they're over the ocean. And we get images like this. So we've got 47 satellites that we're using today. One of them is operating a camera that we built here at HEO. The other 46 are using cameras that were built by others, but then we apply our software to do non-Earth imaging. And the idea is to have them in as many diverse layers or shells as possible, orbital shells, and then we pick the one that's closest to the object we want to image, and then we take an image using that satellite. It sounds trivial, it's extremely hard to do, but we figured it out, and we've automated that with our software as well, which is really fantastic. And some of the stuff the team's been up to over the last year has made the images even more awesome, and the insights we can get out of those really fantastic. This is a live kind of, or not live, but it's a demonstration of what happens. We get an image, an Earth observation image. There's a satellite in the foreground, ISS in this stage. In this particular case, it gets a bit blurry. We clean it up, we make it less blurry, and then we provide insights and ship that off to customers. So I wanted to talk about got my daughter there running about. I wanted to talk about some really interesting updates that we have. So our customers asked us for a bunch of things, and they pretty much go along the lines of quality or resolution coverage, how many other objects can we actually see, timeliness, how fast can we get those insights back, and then applications. What can we actually tell people about the objects that we're looking at? So we'll talk about quality or resolution first. We've got two images here. One is of an image that we took early last year, and then the second image that we have is much more beautiful. It's colorized as well. The first is just a grayscale image that's been artificially colorized, but this is a real color photo that we have on your right. And this is just a sign of the quality that we've been able to kind of improve over the last 12 months in particular. So huge shout out to our R&D team. But going forward, we're looking to take more and more images like the one you see on the right, and fewer images like the one that you see on the left. So quality has really been improved massively over the last 12 months. It's been so great that we've been able to help some of our customers and others with verification. So we've actually got an example here of the ESA, the European Space Agency's EarthCare mission, and we're able to give them verification of what their satellite's doing on orbit. It's working great, which is really good. This is a really critical mission as well for understanding more about the Earth and mapping the Earth and kind of taking a health check of what's happening down below. But this is a really great image that we took, and the guys at ESA were really excited as well. So most people, when they launch a satellite, they're used to launching it, it goes up, and they never see it again. They get telemetry back, but they don't really understand what's happening to their satellite. So when the ESA guys saw that, they were very excited, and we have a video from one of them to share with you now.
Hello, I'm Marco Casanova, and I'm the Data Handling Spacecraft Operations Engineer of EarthCare, a mission which has been launched recently this March, and for which I've been part of the launch team. And for me, it has been really incredible to see pictures of my satellite with such accuracy. I've never seen something like that, and seeing our big radar deployed from something more than telemetry readings is something really special. So thanks a lot, and I wish a lot of success to the HEO company. Thanks.
Thank you, Marco. The next thing we've been doing in terms of quality is really pushing the satellites that we're using to their limits. And there's two ways this is going. So either we can get access to new satellites in orbits that go closer to where our customers are, or we can push the limits of existing satellites. We've been doing both of those over the last 12 months. So here we've got some examples. One of these photos you've seen already of the rocket body, but we've got some examples here of where the altitudes are, where these objects sit, and then the kind of resolution we can get of them. Size matters as well. That makes a huge difference. And so the other kind of axis on this chart is size from medium up to large. And you can see kind of the smaller objects, we get very little detail out of them. We get a pretty scrappy image at the moment. And we get some beautiful images of the ISS, and we're starting to get more and more beautiful images of medium-sized objects as well, like the rocket body there. But the idea is to continue improving over time so we can see more of these smaller objects. So this is where we were about 6 months ago, this chart. Already today, so several months later, we've upgraded ourselves. So more blue is good. We've got a lot more blue. So really excited to have unlocked some more kind of orbital shells into blue for our customers there. What that means is we can get more of these high quality images and get more of those insights to our customers. But what I'm really excited about, this is 6 months ago. So this is today, so more blue already. But what I'm really excited about is unlocking even more orbital shells and unlocking even more capability from our suppliers. So in 6 months' time, we expect to have even more blue. And I think And 12, yeah, even more blue. So it keeps going. This is the last shot. But we're looking to unlock what we call high LEO as well. So we're going up beyond 750 kilometers with some of our different partners and looking to unlock some of those higher orbits. Those orbits are really critical because the higher a piece of space debris is, the longer it takes to deorbit, and the more likely something is to happen to that object when it's up there. So really critical that we can get these insights on these objects that are at those altitudes. So really excited to unlock those. And we'll be doing it with our partners. And the way we work with our partners is that we're looking to access more coverage typically. So we're looking to go to different orbits, high LEO in that case, and other orbits as well. And this is a message from, oh, sorry, this, I'm going to go back a slide. And excuse me, I'm not feeling super well today. So one of the ways we do that is by building our own cameras. So we spoke about our own cameras today. One of them we mentioned was in the works at the last T-. And happily at this T-, we have more to show you, thanks to our hardware team. So I'll run that video now. Presenting the Adler camera. So we already have a camera in space that we build. It's called the Holmes. It's with one of our partners called Turian. It's a fantastic camera. It's quite small. This camera is twice as big in every dimension. What does that mean? It means higher quality, higher resolution. There's some really great back-end electronics as well. So there's an extremely high frame rate and lots of other fantastic details that we'd be happy to share on a webinar if anyone's interested as well. So we're really excited about Adler, and the first one's going up in February next year in Q1. And we really can't wait. That'll be going up with Turian too. We've also got a whole bunch more homes going up as well. So we have, we had one go up last year on Turian, one go up this year on Space Machines. We'll have 2 more go up in November this year on Sidus and Impulse. And we'll have another one go up with Sidus, another one go up with Turian, and then an Adler going up with Turian as well. So we're really excited about all of those. And in the last 12 months, we've had our first success with one of our cameras. So we have a photo there of the moon, which is fantastic, and we'll be taking some more photos of different satellites soon as well. So Adler, thank you, sir. Adler, we're incredibly excited about, and Holmes is now online, which is really awesome. Huge, huge credit to our technical team. Cool. So what we're able to do with one of our partners, Impulse in particular, is unlock what we call high LEO. So this is low Earth orbit above 700 kilometers. So the majority of Earth observation satellites are below that 700 kilometer mark. So one of the ways that we're empowering our suppliers to take images for us and help our customers is by launching to high LEO, so going to altitudes above 700 kilometers. So really excited to go into phase 2 of our plan and jump up there. And we've actually got a video from Impulse right here that we'll share with you.
Ray, and I look after commercial sales here at Impulse. So Impulse is an in-space transportation company founded in 2021 by Tom Mueller. We're building technologies to be able to go from low Earth orbit directly out to high energy orbits, so such as MEO, GEO, or cislunar, and beyond. We're building a few different spacecraft to be able to accomplish such a task, and Mira is an orbital hosting and deployment platform. So essentially a spacecraft that is super high thrust, it's highly maneuverable, it's got extremely good attitude control, but most importantly, and one of the reasons why, well, the main reason why I'm on this pre-recorded video is it's fantastic and uniquely designed for non-Earth imagery capture. So as such, we're extremely excited about our partnership with HEO and what this means for their customers. And we've taken the HEO Homes 007 camera. It's fully integrated and tested onto the Mirror platform. It's sitting there in the clean room awaiting launch. So yeah, we're super excited about this and to see what comes from it. Anyway, thank you, and see you soon. Bye.
So 007's launching on Impulse later this year in November, and then it will be, or it's planned to cruise to a higher altitude after it's inserted into its initial orbit, which we're really excited about. We're also really excited about GEO, and really pleased to announce today that we'll be active in GEO in 2026. And this is a big deal. So satellites in LEO are typically valued at around $10 million. They're very sophisticated, capable satellites. There's a lot of them. Satellites in GEO can be somewhere between several hundred million and a couple of $1 billion. These are where the really big satellites are. And we're incredibly excited to be working with some of our partners to go up there. Sadly, I can't do too many announcements today, except tell you when we're going to be up there in 26, which we're extremely excited about. So GEO, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. We also wanted to talk about timeliness and kind of how this kind of works out as an increase in non-Earth imagery missions. So we're actually the biggest supplier of non-Earth imagery in the world. Can you guys believe that? It's incredible. We've literally taken thousands of missions now, which we can't believe. We've actually got a little diagram that the teams put together to kind of show how that's happened. So I'll play that real quick now. So every time there's a flash of light, that's 3 different missions that have occurred. Oh, it's back. It's back. We're back, baby. So almost 1,000 imaging missions this year successfully completed already, and we're only 7 months in. And we feel like we're just getting started. We're just starting to unlock some of the I guess, potential of non-Earth imagery, which is awesome. One of the things we were able to do earlier this year, due to this increased cadence, was help one of our customers, the UK Space Agency. They were really concerned about an object that was deorbiting. It's called ERS-2. Some of you might have seen images online. It looks like a TIE fighter. We've got some of those there. But because we're able to hit this object so many times, we're able to understand details about it that were opaque before. So we're able to understand details about which orientation it had and about any potential damage that had occurred to it. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from the UK Space Agency.
Several projects the UK are looking at, such as ADR and re-entry capacity, are linked by their need for high-quality imagery for satellites re-enters. HEO recently conducted a study with the Office of Chief Engineers within UKSA to help us look at how this imagery can work when it's non-Earth imagery, so imagery gets from space. Despite the challenges of trying to image something at low altitude, HEO helped us with how a re-entry East satellite and get images of it just before it re-enters. This kind of information will be really helpful in the future for many of our companies, and it will help us look at ways we can investigate this kind of imaging in the future. We think this is a really great value to both UKSA and ESA, and we look forward to working with HEO in.
Thank you, Jenny. And if you don't mind, another round of applause for our UK team who are here tonight by and large and who worked on that contract. Thank you. Something that we found surprising, because we've been really banging on about this problem for a long time, but is now really starting to get some traction, is about identification. So you might think that you launch a satellite, it kind of exits the spacecraft, the rocket, sorry, it goes into its orbit, and it is actually being tracked. The problem is that oftentimes no one knows who belongs to these satellites, even the operators themselves sometimes. So identification's been something that we've been asked more and more about, and that's been particularly over the last 6 months. And wanted to kind of show you some of the problems that's happening, as well as what we're trying to do to fix it here. So the number of unknown objects has really exponentiated since 2018 in particular. These are actually the identifications on SpaceTrack. And for those that don't know, SpaceTrack is the US Air Force's, or now the US Space Force's, system, and it uses the source of truth for satellite operators. So we're seeing what's now on average more than 500 unidentified objects at any given time. It rises and falls depending on what's been launching and what's been identified. But as you can see, it's become a real runaway problem. And we don't see that curve kind of flattening out. We see it continuing to escalate. So as more satellites launch, which is actually a great thing. It's good to have more satellites in space. But the challenge becomes, how do you identify everything? And identification matters because governments that provide launch licenses to different spacecraft operators, they're actually liable if that satellite were to hit another spacecraft or to hit the ground and hurt someone. That government's actually liable. So it's really important that they know if that satellite belongs or was licensed by them or not. So there was a recent launch, Transporter 10. There are still tens of unidentified satellites that came off that launch. Sadly, some of them we can't help with. But I wanted to give an example of one satellite that we were able to identify before it was formally identified and put on SpaceTrack. And I think we were something like 3 weeks earlier than the US government in this case. But this is called ISI X38. We're able to identify that it was an ISI satellite straight away. We're also able to see that it was fully deployed, which is fantastic. We've got a 3D model that we built in-house next to it showing the deployment. And we're able to verify that it all happened correctly, which is great. Yeah, came up on SpaceTrack several weeks later, which was really exciting. So real show that this capability can work, and we can, in fact, identify satellites purely using a photo of the satellite, which is awesome. Sometimes we're dealing with different organizations that don't necessarily want to play ball and don't necessarily help the US government understand what a specific spacecraft is. So we've got an example here. It's actually just fallen into the atmosphere 2 days ago. It was called Object U throughout its entire life on Spacetrack. So again, that's the US catalog. But we took an image of it. And straight away, we found out that it was one of the Long March 8 rocket bodies. So it's a rocket body that's gone in space. It's deployed several objects off of it, but the rocket body stayed in space for a long period of time. And we were able to image that over, I guess, several months. And we're even able to track it with our cameras and really understand what its rotation state was, and really try and figure out how that might impact different, I guess, debris creation events or how that might impact the atmosphere. In a real strange turn of events, no one actually knows where on Earth this rocket landed 2 days ago. All we know is that it's not in space anymore. And it could be anywhere from central Russia to Antarctica to the middle of the ocean. No one really knows. And this is bringing this back to the UK Space Agency. This is why it's really important that we get Space Agency support and really start tracking these objects and trying to understand where they're going to land. Because sometimes they hit populated areas, and there has been space debris hitting buildings recently, and this is something that we should be at least more aware of, and then attempting to do something about as well. So I'll leave that there, but I think this is really important work that we need to continue doing at HEO. So, the software that ties all this together. We showed you some of the back-end stuff, some of the stuff that we've been doing in terms of, I guess, the core capabilities. But how do we package it all together? How do we make it go? So I think a lot of you know about HEO Inspect. The most recent iteration was HEO Inspect 2.0, which was released at T- this year, which was awesome. We're up to HEO Inspect 3.0 now, and it's really fantastic. So I won't talk about all the features today. We really just don't have enough time. But there will be webinars if people are interested in joining that and learning more about the software. And we'd love to share it with you guys. But I'll speak about some of the features here. So we've got one object that we really care deeply about. This is called Resource P1. It's still, or pieces of it, are still in space today. This suffered a debris creation event 3 weeks ago. Fortunately, several months before that happened, we were able to collect an image of it, and we saw that both of its solar panels were in a kind of non-intended state. So they were both kind of potentially flexing around and weren't where they were meant to be, potentially a latching issue or something like that. We've imaged it since. We've got a whole bunch more images that we can't share with you today. But what I can say is that it's in 2 very large chunks. One of them is about the same size as the body that you see here. The solar panels are missing. What a big surprise. And there's a second large chunk. It's really difficult to understand exactly what happened, though. So we've still got our analysts still working on that, and we know that a lot of government analysts are looking at this as well. But it shows you HEO Inspect 3.0. So we've got a much cleaner layout here. We can look at the history of the objects. And it's really important for this object in particular because we can see what's been happening in the past and also in the future after the debris creation event as well. So we'll move on. I think the second big thing that I want to share with you today is that a lot of people who work in space are commuting on trains, on buses, what have you, in taxis, and you know, what's happening in space doesn't necessarily correlate to where you are on the ground. So using your computer, using your workstation in a protected environment, that's not generally an option if you want to get something done fast. So what we've done is gone a step further and said, you know what, maybe we want to use this on our phone or on our tablet or on any device that you want. So all this stuff is touchscreen enabled. You can literally task a satellite up on your phone And any of the HEO people walking around today should be, fingers crossed, hopefully I'm not lying to you, but they should be able to task that up on their phone in front of your very eyes. So I just got a thumbs up from the CTO. Okay, we're good. Yeah, thank you, Hironya. So please walk up to any of us this evening and we'll show you. For those watching online, again, we'll be having webinars and we'll be able to share that with you. And of course, you can always make a free account and look at the functionality at your leisure, at your convenience too. So those are the big things that I wanted to share about HEO Inspect 3.0, but there's a lot of other great functionality there and really keen for you guys to check it out. And we do have booths set up as well. Thank you for coming tonight. Thanks to those watching online. Thanks to those in the future watching in your own time. But maybe more importantly, thanks to our team that have put this together. They've been really busting their asses to get this done, and they've done a really fantastic job. The stuff that you've seen here tonight is world leading, world first, and just incredible that it's happening in here across our 3 geographies. So we've got offices here in Sydney, in the UK, and in the US as well. All teams working incredibly hard to bring this future into reality. So we're here. I'm Will Crow, and we're here to make space transparent, and we're on a mission to image any object in the solar system on demand. Thank you.